Welcome, friends, to Nightingale Hospital, a prestigious center of care and learning in the medical field. While we have skeletons hidden in our own history, everything here is peachy so far since the establishment of the research facility 5 years ago, and with its appointed head, the charismatic Dr. Kenneth Bradford. Thanks to him, our institute has thrived stupendously under the nation's eye and became the center of advanced medical research. And now meet Kim. Hardworking, ambitious, efficient, everything you'd look for in a PR director. However, she is now to face her most difficult case yet.
Hello?
At this point, Kim realizes that Nightingale's research facility has committed a violation of the principle informed consent, as well as moral outrage. If this case gets leaked out early, the result could be made worse because of a well-known and similar incident at Alder Hey Hospital. If the press gets wind of this scandal, they are almost certain to present it as another Alder Hey. All of the progress made at Nightingale in the last 5 years could crash and burn overnight, to the detriment of the hospital and the community it serves. First of all, what are ethics? According to experts, ethics are the systematic frameworks which codify moral principles. Not following, Kim? They are the codes of conduct or values that are generally accepted by a larger social group. Not to be confused, however, with morals, which are values applied at a more personal level. In a basic sense, ethics can be approached in two ways: cognitivism and non-cognitivism. Cognitivism is a more objective approach to life. It enables us to create absolute, concrete statements of what is right or wrong. Cognitive ethics can be divided into two categories: consequentialism or deontology. On the other hand, non-cognitivism is a purely subjective approach to ethics. It is more based on beliefs, attitudes, and opinions instead of moral absolutes. Ralph Potter of Harvard Divinity School presents his own ethical decision-making framework called the Potter Box. The Potter Box model contains 4 steps, these 4 being: number 1, define the situation; number 2, identify values; number 3, select principles; and number 4, choose loyalties. To explain these 4 steps more, Kim devised the following plan, which goes more in depth. For step 1, to gain a clearer understanding of the crisis, Kim would have to gather some research of her own regarding the unauthorized removal of organs. She must collect as much solid or unsolid evidence as possible, not only to understand the case, but to clear up any confusion or misunderstandings as well. Asking the right questions at the right time is also essential. Who allowed the illicit removal of organs in the first place? What is the real motivation behind this act? Furthermore, Kim would have to choose her words carefully when questioning the ones responsible, as to avoid triggering any unnecessary emotional offense. Questions like, why do you rip out hearts without the consent of their loved ones? Or, have you any empathy for the patient's family at all? Can be politely replaced with, why wouldn't you request for formal permission from their close ones? Or how would you feel if I were to take away your daughter's organs without your approval? As a side note, unofficial snooping would not work at this point. It would be considered unethical, thus defeating the purpose of this model. Though it may bring a certain thrill in situations of mundane, it is best to leave such deeds to the private investigators. And then for step 2. Values, in many ways, helped us to put our life in stable order. It can be categorized in many forms. One of the most basic list of values to leading an ethical life, however, is Josephine's 10 universal values. These being the following: honesty, integrity, promise-keeping, fidelity, fairness, caring for others, respect for others, responsible citizenship, pursuit of excellence, and last but not least, accountability. Earlier in the video, we were introduced to two main approaches to ethics: cognitivism and non-cognitivism. In order to be fair, Kim has to boil down to a specific approach from these two. Should she approach with virtue ethics, where the being of the responsible is taken into account more than their doing? Or should she choose a teleological approach, which means consequential approach, where she would only decide whether the responsible is right or wrong, depending on the impact of the consequences of after revealing the crisis to the parents' victims? However, then there is also deontology, which is about moral truths. A suitable approach to the situation would be mixed consequentialism, a combination of both consequentialism and deontology. The crisis would be approached rationally and morally equally at the same time. Finally, in the last, fourth step, Kim has to decide where her loyalties lie. These could be a duty to herself, a duty to her client or organization, a duty to her profession, or a duty to her society. The most ethical choice in this case would be a duty to society, which means the deceased victims' families. A duty to client organization, the Nightingale Research Facility, and then a duty to her profession as a PR director. Because they have stolen from them, the victims' families would be taken into consideration first. Then the reputation of the client comes next, followed by the status of her job as a PR professional.